What is up, YouTube tool tubers of the world? My name is Brad. Welcome to the workbench. Today we got a few tips and tricks for you using some very common shop materials. Very important thing to always check on your saw is to make sure the blade is aligned to the miter slots. One of the most accurate ways to make sure everything's in alignment is, of course, to use a dial indicator. And since my dial indicator I bought came with the magnetic base anyways, I figured I might as well utilize that, and it made making this jig a whole lot quicker. And what it is it's a piece of IKEA slab. For those of y'all that don't know, that's a piece of IKEA furniture that was being thrown out. It's melamine is basically what it is. Then I went ahead and put a piece of oak. You always want to try to at least use a hardwood for this, for the runner. And then just epoxied a piece of metal. You throw it in your miter slot. You attach your dial indicator. Now that your magnetic base is engaged, that dial indicator is not moving anywhere. And then the base is referenced off of the miter slot. So now you have a perfectly accurate way to check and adjust your blade alignment to the miter slot. This is a new saw, and the miter slot is just a hair off. That's way too much to try to be accurate. So rather than go and build a whole new one, which you can if that's what suits you, but this next tip is going to apply to anything that uses these runners. This next tool will shim this right up, make it perfect, and it is ever adjustable no matter what your wood does, because wood is going to move a little bit. It's a little on the pricey side, guys, so prepare yourselves. No, what? That's right. It's so simple, guys, and the fact that I never thought of this before, I mean, I spent many times like cutting off a little too much of my runner and then saying, oh, damn it, I gotta recut one. But all you do, put your one little strip. Now you don't want any wrinkles or any creases in there. You want it nice and flat. You take your razor blade, cut off the top, cut off the sides, and then you test it. Oh, still too much movement. So what do? You just add another piece. You keep adding and adding until you get the fit that you want. Alright guys, so now we have the absolute perfect fit. There is just enough play in there to let me slide it back and forth. Another thing is, I noticed that I had a little bit of rock in it, so I used it to shim up the bottom. Masking tape is a great shim because look how thin it is. You just add it, take it away as you need it. Oh, you add too much, you take it off. You know, seasonal changes with your wood happen. There's no need to go make new ones. The next tip is for cutting plywoods and wanting very, very fine cross cuts. You know, these 10-inch blades, and even if you're running a 12-inch saw, God help you, they're pretty expensive. And when you're cutting plywoods or you want really super clean cross cuts, you're going to need a high tooth count. So a great solution for that, go to a 7 1/4 inch blade. Same arbor size, this is a Harbor Freight one, but let's say even a Diablo 60 tooth I think is around 15 to 20 bucks. It may look a little funny at first to you. I measured it before I took the 10-inch blade out, and I had about 3.5 inches of cut capacity. I'm right at just over 2 inches. I mean, that's plenty of cut capacity for you. There's no need to buy a 62 10-inch blade unless you're cross-cutting some super thick furniture. This will save you a lot of money, especially if you work with reclaimed lumber. Get you a Diablo 24 tooth demolition blade to do all your ripping and even your cross cuts on pallet wood. Any kind of wood that might have metal in it. Let's say you miss a nail, blow out all your carbide, you ruin a $10 7 1/4 inch circular saw blade rather than a $50 or even, let's say, that $100 Ridge carbide blade. I actually know a guy that did that. Whew! Man, was he upset. No, God! Last benefit to using this thinner blade, it is a 1/16 of an inch kerf. Even a thin kerf 10-inch blade is 3/32. A full kerf is an 1/8 inch. If you're chopping out more material, that's going to create more sawdust. So inner kerf, less material, less sawdust that you have to deal with. And that's always a plus. Think of Brad, didn't you have a set of earplugs at the beginning of the video? And yes I did, and this is probably my favorite hack yet. Of course, you should have earplugs in your shop anyways. But what they really come in handy for, where they really shine, isn't necessarily protecting your ears. Let's say you're gonna go paint a project that has dowel joinery. Go ahead, squish them up, throw that sucker in there, and just wait, and that will be a perfect fit. You go to put your dowels in, you don't have any fitment issues because that paint is clogged up down in there. Look at that, look how good of a fit that is. That ain't coming out no matter what you do. Another example, especially if you do tool restorations, let's say I wanted to paint this, which I wouldn't, it's just the only thing I can come up with a hole with threads in it right now. You don't want to clog up your threads, and boom, there it is. Anything with a hole, this is amazing for, and like I said, you ain't got to worry about it coming loose. It's always in there. Probably one of my favorite hacks. Once you get done with the work you're doing, they just pop right out. They're cheap, they're disposable. If you clicked on this video because you saw something like this, stop it. You should be ashamed of yourself. Stop encouraging people to do dumb shit like this. Sorry if I disappointed you with the angle grinder saw blade thing, but there's just some stupid shit out there on the internet today. And I wanted to bring you some actual practical, good, safe hacks that you can use and maybe will help you out of a tough spot. Before you go, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down there. Keep innovating, creating, and I'll holler at y'all next time. Peace!
Stop doing dumb shit.